take our seats.
Yeah, baby.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to A Godless Universe. Episode 7. So, here's the crazy thing. I got this new, you can stream on 16:9 or then on you can stream on the cell phone size. I heard an echo when I was playing when the intro was playing. I don't know I think the audio is okay. But this is brand new. So you can now stream on YouTube. Hello world. You can now stream on YouTube. And one day I'm going to give you guys everything that I've done to start this channel. I swear to God, I will. If someone wants to know, I'm going to at one point in time divulge how I do this alone. So YouTube has started that you go to 16:9 and then they also stream vertical. So I hope it's working. I really is. It's new. I guess it's new. You know, everything is going. But to do this all alone is really it's quite amazing, guys. Like it's quite amazing technology that I can do this alone. Really. All this, I got to develop the content. You got to, I never have practice time. You think you like to do one run through, but no, then you just go to air and you wing it. Just whatever. Hopefully everything works out. Hopefully you pray to God in a godless universe. That's, and we don't care if someone's religious, we don't care. Like, we don't. We are interested in the real world, science, philosophy, religion, history, real life, economics. Science is out to prove things right, not wrong. That's just the way it is. Tomorrow, I was going to do Charlie Kirk today, and I never got everything done with the holiday today. Charlie Kirk is tomorrow. Basically, I'm going to tell you what happened. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you what happened tomorrow. And you can look at everything that I see, all the evidence that I present, and I'm pretty confident you'll go, damn, this Danny guy, he might have this Charlie Kirk thing nailed. Listen tomorrow, Charlie Kirk tomorrow, and I apologize. It was supposed to be today, but I just could not. There's some detail to it for sure. But today we are doing Dogman. So there's evidence of a Dogman sightings. I hate nothing more on YouTube. There are all these channels that like literally they push this stuff like and they push it like it's real, right? I'm like a Spock guy. If it's not real, it probably doesn't exist, right? Like aliens. I understand. I have friends that believe in aliens. That's fine. Like they're amongst us. I don't. We would see heat signatures. We would see so many things. Now that is an argument for chat and a lot of people who want to put their voices out there for that. And I look forward to the argument. But Brian Cox is on my side, and Brian Cox kicks ass, right? Brian Cox is the GOAT. So tomorrow is going to be Charlie Kirk Day, and I promise that what you hear, I think you will, anyway, it'll be an eye-opener anyway. And so we're doing Dogman in the final segment. Stars. How big are stars? There's like a 5-minute bit that I thought is going to be really cool, just to show some of these really big stars. Like how big are some of these stars compared to our little tiny sun? I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty shocking. And then 37 people that should not exist, or we're not sure. 37 people who we are not sure if they exist or might not have existed. There are some more than interesting names on that list. So guys, I'm putting some stuff away, and I don't know if any of you are Dungeons and Dragons fans. I started Dungeons and Dragons when I was I bought the first box set, 1977. And it's the one thing I collect is dungeons, and I'm putting some stuff away. I'm actually putting some stuff on the studio. Do you guys remember Deities? And this is the Cthulhu version, and it is absolutely immaculate. I mean, the spine hasn't even been at all damaged. Like it hasn't never been open beyond like 30%. But this is the old school deities and demigods. I got a whole bunch of these, and they all come. They're all worth. Some of these are worth a lot of money. I have Dungeons and Dragons 1977, the white box, not the wood grain. I wish, but the white box in its original cellophane, mint condition, mint, absolutely mint. I actually have two of them. One's mint and one's in pretty good shape. But like here, the player's handbook. This is a second printing. The first printing, which I have one of, is these things are actually worth a lot of money. So I don't know. So this is one of my passions, right? I've never been a comic book guy, but I'm thinking about starting to. I have a couple of comic books, so I'm thinking about starting to collect comic books. Maybe but Dungeons and Dragons, I had them out, so I was gonna show it. So, on December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I'm a screenwriter. Spent 20 years in Los Angeles. 20 years. Thank you. I've written many screenplays. I think I am the most winningest screenwriter on the film festival circuit. I've won hundreds of awards, multiple screenplays, 17 different countries, but I've never sold a screenplay. And people ask why. Well, why would you sell a screenplay for $10,000 for them to absolutely obliterate it, right? They take it, and it's either going to turn into one of those movies that has a 2.8 out of 10 on IMDb. you know those ones, right? Or they're going to take it and they're going to DEI it. They're going to change it. They're going to, and then it's to the point where like guys, could you take my name off of that? Would you mind just scratching my name? I'll take the money. You can just scratch my name off. So anyway, so being a screenwriter, it's reviewing movies and the science fiction, fantasy, and of course I love horror. Again, you got to make sure you say the OR when you say horror. Otherwise you say whore. I write horror screenplays. How do you like horror? So anyway, we're going to do Kate Beckinsale. She is one of the best female protagonists. You got Ripley. There's a few more. But I love me some Kate Beckinsale. So we're going to do December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The Underworld series. You don't want to say underwear with that because it's pretty easy to do. But that is coming up. And again, tomorrow will be Charlie Kirk. My apologies. It is not today. So what... being in a godless universe, and if you like stars and you take a look at understanding how big stars are, let's just pause. So basically, this goes through all the sizes from Earth going up until, well, we'll find out what the biggest star is. So, I'm going to go here. There we go. So there's Jupiter. Jupiter is, where's my info? Jupiter is, Jupiter. Jupiter's the largest planet in our solar system. 1,300 Earths fit inside of Jupiter. 1,300 Earths. Just keep going. As we keep going, we move, yes, Theta 1, which is just a little bit larger. What is it? 54 times the mass of Jupiter. It is a brown dwarf star. 54 times. 54 times the mass of Jupiter. It gets better. Oh, it gets better. Oh, Proxima Centauri. Proxima Centauri is 1/7 the size of our sun, approximately 107,000 kilometers. And we get, that's our sun. Our sun equals one sun. Well, 1.3 million Earths, I think. We get bigger. Sirius A. Sirius A is about 1.7 times the radius of our sun. 1.7 times. Pollux, next on the list. Pollux is, I should put some music back on this, shouldn't I? Approximately 8.9 times the size of our radius, of the sun's radius. 9 times? Yeah. Jeez. And here we go to Arcturus. Arcturus is, now you're getting really pretty, 25 times larger in diameter. So 25 times the width of our sun, Arcturus. And this is still tiny. Like in the big world of stars, this is still tiny. This is still like a little munchkin. We get to the blue supergiants, or you might even call them the hypergiants. Rigel. Rigel is 70 times that a size of our sun and about 24 times as mass in terms of, you know, there's volume and there's mass. So this thing is a monster. Rigel is a monster. Even bigger, we get to Deneb. Deneb is 200 times that of our sun. 200 times. And so these are the blue supergiants. Like they burn really, really hot pistol. It is 306 times the size of our sun. 306 times. And I believe it is 20, almost 30 times the mass of our sun. I mean, it's huge. I mean, if you now we're talking, our sun is just a little dot compared to these. Antares. Antares is 700 times the size of our sun. And the black holes are even bigger. I mean, the black holes are like, they are just monstrous. Betelgeuse is 700, just over 700 times. VY Canis Majoris is, it's, on this one, it says it's the biggest. 1,420 times that of our sun's radius. And I think that's where it stops. But Stephenson 218 is actually considered to be the largest star that we know of. Stephenson 218. I just thought that was kind of really interesting. So I thought that would be an interesting way to start the show today. To your health. I oftentimes have a glass of red wine with the show. Good for the heart, good for the mind. Not too much, though. I do not advocate. Just a bit, just a little bit, you know? Feels good. It's well deserved. So, it's... I saw this article, and... okay, I can get rid of all the star stuff. This is something... I'm going to add this to the stage. There we go. So this is... I found this really interesting. Before we get to Dogman, there are these people that have... people you think might have lived. But there's actually no evidence that they have lived, or it's questionable whether they were actually really real people. So, and then some of these will surprise you. It's basically... it's a, so there you go. They don't waste any time. Mulan. Before Disney brought Mulan to the big screen, the warrior already was a legend in China. However, the famous tale of Mulan fighting in her father's place might not be true. So basically the evidence points to that Mulan might not be real. King Arthur. I don't know if that surprises anybody, The Legend of King Arthur, Monty Python, The Holy Grail. So it's. Do you believe in King Arthur? You know what? The best King Arthur movie, the one with Clive Owens. Do you know which one I mean? Mads Mikkelsen is in it. I think I love that. What was her name? She was on Pirates of the Caribbean. Keira Knightley. That is my favorite King Arthur movie. I think they did a really good job. Each one of the knights, Galahad, they all had a different way of fighting. Lancelot fought with two swords. It was Reed Richards. What was that actor's name? He played Reed Richards. He was a good Lancelot, actually. So anyway, King Arthur probably didn't exist. William Shakespeare. We've heard the rumors, but I think there is a lot of evidence that William Shakespeare actually did exist. But I know, you know what? It's kind of like that thing that there was a ghostwriter right behind him. I don't know. That's a tough one. I was an English major at university, so Robin Hood. Yeah, you guys believe in Robin Hood? Who believes in Robin Hood? I don't think. I think he's a myth. I think he's more myth or legend than he is reality, I guess. Confucius was known as one of the most wise and thoughtful philosophers in Chinese history. However, due to a lack of evidence, many scholars believe the philosopher to be nothing more than an imaginative figure. William Tell. I don't think that's William Tell lived in Switzerland during the 14th century and was known to be a troublemaker. According to legend, the Austrian official placed a hat on top of a pole in the Altdorf and made it a requirement for everyone to remove their hats as they passed the landmark. I don't think he existed. Sun Tzu. Now, Sun Tzu was famous. The Art of War. I found this to be interesting. I don't know much about Sun Tzu, and I did not know that his actual existence was being questioned. The ancient Chinese military leader often is credited with creating the guidebook to war. However, there is little evidence proving where his book, The Art of War, truly came from. That's interesting. Many individuals believe the book was a collection of military lessons from several generations compiled under the name Sun Tzu. It's also like, what's his name? Let's actually Ragnar Lothbrok. I don't know if he's in this list, but Ragnar Lothbrok was supposed to be. I don't. If you guys watch the first Viking series with Travis Fimmel, God, guys, if you haven't, like seriously, watch that series, the first Viking series with Travis Fimmel. Freaking great TV. It's excellent TV. Very well written. Well, Travis Fimmel nailed it. So, Homer. Not Simpson. I know, yeah, Homer Simpson is real. Homer was known as the great scholar, poet, and author. However, many people argue the Greek poet was not the original author of the Iliad and the Odyssey. Homer was simply the first to write down the stories, giving himself credit for the work. There are many theories that suggest Homer was actually a woman who was blind. Sounds a little DEI to me. No, I just kidding. Others believe that Homer was a group of Greek scholars rather than one single person. That I can believe, right? That I can believe. John Henry. The legend of John Henry is told through the song Ballad of John Henry. The tale shares a story about an ex-slave who challenged a steam drill to see who could work faster. Henry beat the steam drill, yet died shortly after due to exhaustion. Well, that'll stop working so hard, motherfucker. I just kidding. Kunta Kinte. I remember watching The Roots back when I was a kid, and I don't. The story of Kunta Kinte was popularized in Alex Haley's Pulitzer Prize-winning book Roots, and its subsequent TV miniseries of the same name. Kinte's story became so widespread that an island was named after him in Gambia. I didn't know. I'm gonna go to the island of Kunta Kinte for vacation. While Kinte's story may have had a strong impact on history, not all of the details appear to be true. Haley's sources do not match up with history, leaving the story with several false pretenses. Kunta Kinte, I don't believe you're there, man. No. Helen of Troy. This was a little disappointing. Troy, Brad Pitt, Troy. It's probably the best Troy movie. It's not Brad Pitt's best movie. He didn't even want to do the movie, but yeah, you know, it's a good watch too. I love fantasy movies, right? Anything dealing with Kingdom of Heaven, Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott is one of the best at period pieces. I love Kingdom of Heaven. It's one of those. It's one of those movies, you know, you watch on a Sunday. You just want some comfort movie on. Kingdom of Heaven is one of those for me. So was Tombstone. I love Tombstone. Helen of Troy was known as the most beautiful woman in the world and was the wife of the Greek king Menelaus. You know what? I took antiquity in university. Menelaus in Homer's The Iliad. However, the historians have doubted Helen's existence due to a lack of evidence. Many people simply believe that she was a mythical character added into the story. Could be. And that is actually with a... Oh my God. You're telling me... Wait a sec. You're freaking telling me that Jesus weren't real? You're telling me, like, you're... I actually did a video. I just did a video on why I felt Jesus did not actually exist. And if he did exist, he was something very, you know, there was a time where everyone was preaching going on. But of the top 100 writers of the time, nobody wrote anything about him. If you're doing stuff that is literally, if you're walking on water, someone's going to write about it. Someone. Like, it's like, have you heard the guy that's walking on water? His name is Jesus. Now that's, you know, this could really upset some, you know, if you believe in Jesus, hey, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Keep your faith, but there is on a historical Jesus. There's not much evidence. There's not King Solomon. Yeah. There's evidence still present that King Solomon's lifetime, allowing many people to be skeptical of his existence. King Solomon was supposedly the richest man in the world during his reign, the Elon Musk of his time, right? Yet no artifacts from his fortune have ever been found. Well, that starts to make you think. Midas, the expression, the Midas touch. You ever wonder where that came from? The Midas touch has a strong history dating back to King Midas, a Greek mythological king who could turn items into gold with a single touch. Well, it sounds like bullshit already. While the tale is a staple in the Greek mythology, there is no hard evidence that Midas really existed. Could be like the Dogman. Could be similar to the Dogman, which we are going to get to. Jack the Ripper. This is kind of disappointing. Jack the Ripper potentially not being real. The legend of Jack the Ripper has been terrorizing minds since the 19th century. The London-based serial killer was known for killing prostitutes, horror, in the East End of London by ripping out their throats and stomachs. However, the identity of Jack the Ripper was never confirmed. Many journalists claimed to have a confession from the culprit. Yet the stories were never confirmed. It always turned out to be a hoax. The police were never able to find Jack the Ripper, making him a true man of mystery. A regular old Austin Powers. Odysseus. Odysseus was the main character in Homer's epic poem, The Odyssey. Odysseus, also known as Ulysses, took 10 years to return home after the fall of Troy. Many question the legitimacy of his adventures, yet a recent archaeology discovery shows that his journey could be true. The archaeologists found remains from a 3-story building and a well from the 8th century BC, which match up with Odysseus and his lofty tale, suggesting that his adventures could be true. I'm down. Pythagoras. Of course, the Pythagoras theorem. Meet Pythagoras, the man responsible for the Pythagorean theorem. I swear about it, you go live on YouTube, instant 20 IQ points. They just get like cut off the top. Stuff that you could say absolutely normally in any given conversation. You instantly become dumb on YouTube. When the camera goes on, duh. You know, even like I said, I spent almost 20 years in Los Angeles. I'm out. I took 18 months to get out of that shithole city. It is human de-evolution, de-civilization at its best or at its worst, depends how you want to look at it. And being a screenwriter, you know, I've it's anyway, that's a different story. But historians do not have any proof that Pythagoras wrote anything down, making it hard to give him credit for his work. Historians also question his existence due to the time period in which he supposedly worked, as not many people were working with celestial spheres until later on in the era. Well, that's interesting. Moses. Oh, I got. Have you guys seen that video? I got it in my computer somewhere, where he walks out. What's his name? The movie. He goes back there and he goes, "Hey, I bring you the 10 commandments." I usually don't talk religion. Someone just not too long ago asked me, because from a perspective of morality, right? They said, well, how can you have morals if you don't believe in God? So, well, first off, I'm an agnostic and I don't think morals come from, but basically I told them, I said, do you realize that thou shalt not kill, or the thou shalt not kill, if you need a deity to tell you that, you're kind of scaring me, right? Thou shalt not kill should be like a no-brainer. You don't need a deity to kind of let you know that one. But that's fine. That's okay. Moses, outside of the biblical world, there is little proof that Moses was a real figure, just like the historical Jesus. Like, there's some really great shows. On Christmas, I'm going to actually do an 8-hour stream on Christmas Day. And a lot of what I'm going to get into is like the historical Jesus, which absolutely fascinates me. Basically, I just watched the life of Brian. Just kidding. Christmas Day, if you're not doing anything, come and hang out with me. I'll hang out with anybody. Like, oh, yeah, I will. Almost anybody. There's little proof that Moses was a real figure. Historians have questioned his existence due to a vague time frame and the extent of his actions. However, many scientists have corroborated the biblical figure's actions, such as parting the Red Sea. Many scientists have corroborated that someone parted the Red Sea how many thousands of years ago? How do you corroborate that? With naturally occurring I should finish the sentence. With naturally occurring forces in nature. There is a phenomenon with the Red Sea that actually it goes back, and you can actually walk in the water. And there's one place at the Red Sea. It becomes knee height or something, and you can actually walk across. It's actually a matter of fact. So, Muhammad, ooh, boy, you're getting all the religions, eh? Not many have questioned the existence of Muhammad, as he often is called the most successful of all the prophets and religious figures. However, there are many historians who claim the prophet never existed due to the lack of hard evidence. There's been a lot of messiahs over the centuries, millennia, right? Millennia, and they all seem to have the same exhibit the same characteristics, so to speak. Carolyn Keene. Many young readers loved the Nancy Drew series penned under Carolyn Keene. However, it was only a pen name. That's interesting. In fact, there were multiple writers who created the Nancy Drew stories. A man named Edward Stratemeyer hired various ghostwriters as a precaution to continue the series if they did not have enough time to do so. Alan Smithy. I didn't even know who's. Oh yeah, remember the Twilight Zone? It was popularly known to be directed by Alan Smithy, but the name was only a pseudonym. Twilight Zone's episodes were crafted by several directors, many disliking the gesture of putting their names in the credits. Next, Donald Kaufman. In the film adaptation, Nicolas Cage played the role of Donald Kaufman, believed to be the brother of Charlie Kaufman. The film convinced the audience that screenwriter Charlie actually had a brother named Donald. Later, the truth was revealed. He was not real, only Charlie's work of imagination. There you go. I think we're almost through the Jim Crow. Oh my God. You don't want to be doing that nowadays. You don't. Jim Crow is a famous character made from theater. This persona portrays a black man that would play in the scenarios taunting the issues of discrimination. The man behind this monstrosity is none other than Thomas D. Rice, who is actually a Caucasian. Is that the Canadian ex-premier Trudeau? Is that Trudeau? He's dating Katy Perry now? Trudeau is dating Katy Perry now. Do you guys know that? May they love each other for the rest of time. John Doe and Jane Doe. Did anyone think that they were real? We often hear John Doe mentioned, especially during a criminal investigation. However, John Doe is only a code name given to unidentified bodies during an investigation. Jane Doe, on the other hand, is named for an unidentified female victims. I don't think we became any smarter after this one. Betty Crocker. Betty Crocker wasn't real. Holy jeez. There goes my Christmas. The Betty Crocker brand became famous when her explanatory recipes became staples in American households. Many had followed her image as the queen of the kitchen. The problem was she was only a fictional character. It's enough for me. Alfred Bulltop Stormalong. Another fictional character whose story tells of an American legend is Alfred Stormalong, believed to be a hero in Massachusetts. Stormalong also assumed to grow to a gigantic height, nearing 19 feet tall. Okay. Yeah, okay. It might be bullshit. James S.A. Corey. When authors collaborate in writing novels, it's crucial to evenly distribute credits from the work. Sometimes listing all contributing authors' names just doesn't do anyone justice. I know that from my screenwriting. There comes a certain point, it's usually about 10%. If someone adds in screenwriting, if you write a screenplay, I've actually never collaborated when I wrote a screenplay. I don't think I'm good at collaboration when writing a screenplay. But anyway, in the case of Daniel Abram and Ty Frank, the pair had winningly created the pseudonym James S.A. Corey, the author of the numerous books such as Star Wars, Honor Among Thieves, Leviathan Wakes, and others. That's kind of interesting. Jack Dawson, is anyone surprised? If you've seen James Cameron's masterpiece Titanic, you might question if the film is based on real life events. However, and sadly, the character of Jack Dawson is only a work of fiction. Unlike Rose, we'll never let go. Jack. Do you know that James Cameron, you know that sketch? He actually sketched that picture of what's her name? Rose. It went on auction for $16,000. He sold it for someone bought it for $16,000. It's true. Is this the next one? Sherlock Holmes. Oh man. It has to be real because Robert Downey Jr. played him. He has to be. Sherlock Holmes is well loved by readers, believing that was once a real detective. The author, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, however, actually based the stories and identity of Sherlock on a British surgeon named Joseph Bell. What an unexpected twist. Yes, it's true. It is true. Zorro, chances are, another famous hero who turned out to be completely fictitious. Zorro, the renowned swordsman, in a black mask riding a black horse. Yeah. I don't think, did anyone think he was real? I never thought so. Ichabod Crane, the legend of Sleepy Hollow, is well known for its character, Washington Irving. This short story would also tell the tale of a man named Ichabod Crane. He was believed to be a hero in the old days alongside Irving. However, Ichabod was only a fictional character, just like Irving. Sybil Ludington. Among the American Revolution stories of heroism is a 16-year-old girl, Sybil Ludington. Her story reflects the bravery of a woman who played a significant role in the American Revolution against the British Empire. It was the women's organization. They had DEI back then? Daughters of the American Revolutionary, who later discovered that the stories behind Sybil's heroism did not occur. Well, that's kind of a bum sting, isn't it? Ann Taylor. Who would have thought that the popular female clothing brand was created by a guy named Richard Libeskind? Libeskind? Quite frankly, Ann Taylor is just a title given for a clothing brand. It is also a fancy way to represent the classic New England style. Well, that's, I think we're coming to the end here. Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben's Rice, famous for being a face of beloved American food company Uncle Ben's. We hate to say it, but he's fake. He's made for marketing. Juan Mendez. I will never enjoy my coffee the same way. This is tough. Juan Valdez is another name associated with a popular brand of coffee. Everyone assumes the psychotic man is the owner. In reality, it's merely an illustration created by Doyle Dane Bernbach. The name, however, suggests the coffee bean's nation of origin, Colombia. East Colombia. Senor. Piotr Zak. Don't even know. BBC Third program was a popular channel in 1961 that would broadcast classical musical. Okay, let's just say he's fake. J.T. Troy. Oh, yeah. The fake author quoted J.T. Troy. The heart is a deceitful above all things. The 1990s semi-autobiography was meant to tell her story in this book, co-authored by Laura Lambert. Mavis Beacon. I'll still sleep okay knowing she was fake. Still sleep fine. Nat Tate. Scottish writer who wrote in 1998 a biography about Nat Tate. It discussed his experiences and struggles as an artist as well as his artworks in which he felt yada, yada, yada. And you got to have some more. Oh, that's it. Those are, I think it was 39. There's some interesting ones in there. I mean, they named all the prophets, right? They named Muhammad. They named Moses. They named Jesus. So there's some interesting ones in there, to say the least. So guys, I have Dogman. Dogman. Have you heard of Dogman? Dogman is a how to say it? He's a there's literal stories on the internet. There's nothing I hate more. I don't know if it's hate more. You see these stories and they literally try to make it sound like these stories are real, right? Dogman, there's a whole bunch of other ones. And this is part of Godless Universe, man. I will go in there and I have no problem exposing this stuff. Three Eye Atlas, Avi Loeb. Just saying. Do I think Three Eye Atlas is an alien spaceship? No, but there's one astronomer that does. And if you do, that's fine. You know, but it's just like Hale Bopp. Didn't work out for 39 people. But a lot of these things that a lot of people, it's just clickbait. It's clickbait all over YouTube. And I guess it's entertaining. But when you listen to the stories, when you listen to these stories, and we're going to listen to one. We're going to go through you're like, I will stop in parts that make you go, well, you know, it's, I'm going to remove that from studio. Can I remove that? Of course I can. And then add to
On's laying there in his sleeping bag and...
Okay, so here we are. Hopefully the volume isn't too high. So this is, I'm not sure what this guy's name is. His channel is What Lurks Beneath. And he gets a lot of views. I mean, he gets a lot more than I do. So I should shut the fuck up, shouldn't I? Hey, man, I just started. You know, not too long. But he does. He gets a lot of views. I don't know if it's because of the people just find it interesting, entertaining, or people believe it. There is an origination. There is an origination to this Dogman story. Well, let's...
in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, when he hears it. Something massive moving through their campsite. This isn't a raccoon. This isn't even a bear. Whatever's out there is walking on two legs.
So I don't know if you guys have ever gone camping. I used to live in a small town, 100,000 people. And wildlife used to always come down. Foxes, wolves, raccoon. If a raccoon is rummaging through your garbage, you don't know whether it's a bear. You don't know how big it is. Unless it makes some sort of a sound to tell you how big it is, you have no idea how big it is, especially in the dark.
3 different states, 4 separate accounts, all describing the exact same thing. The government calls these reports misidentified wildlife. But when you see the footage captured by different witnesses, you'll realize we're dealing with something else entirely. Something that's been watching us all along.
So basically, Dogman has been watching us all along. He's going to start getting into the story. But there's a guy who actually did a radio story. Preface this with the video we're about to watch. The modern Dogman craze started in Michigan in 1987 when a DJ named Steve Cook at WTCM Radio in Traverse City created a novelty song called The Legend as an April Fool's joke. He made it up after hearing various local creature stories, blending them into a spooky narrative about a half man, half dog that appears every 10 years. So every 10 years, Dogman comes out and says hello. But what happened next is where it turned into a phenomenon. After the song aired, listeners began calling the station, claiming they had seen something exactly like the Dogman years earlier. A wolf-like humanoid walking on two legs, glowing eyes, terrifying screams in the woods. Cook was shocked. He later admitted he had no idea so many people would fill in the blanks and turn a radio myth into a personal memory. So that's kind of where Dogman, just to give you a little preface into everything. Let's get it.
On the evening of April 14th, 2019, John and two friends were at an overnight camping trip in a remote corner of Nebraska. They'd driven out to this spot specifically because it was known for having some pretty good fishing, and they were planning on spending a few days just...
He first says it's an overnight camping trip. Now he's spending, like, literally the next sentence, a few days. Do you know if you're going to tell a story? Hey, where are you going tomorrow? Well, I'm going to go on an overnight fishing trip. Oh, so you'll be back tomorrow night? No, I'll be a few days. Well, wouldn't you say I'm going away for a few days? Little anomalies. And police officers in investigations, they'll say it's the little things that prove the lie, right? It prove or hyperbole or whatever you want to call it. It's a little detail, but it makes no sense.
Relaxing by the water, catching fish, and enjoying being away from civilization. The three friends had set up their individual tents in a small clearing about 50 yards away from the lake and had spent most of that first day fishing and hanging around their campfire. So
I have friends that go fishing. None of them go fishing without their toots. I personally don't toot, but my friends that do go fishing, they don't go for fishing. They go to do toots. But anyway, that's just an aside. I'm sure that they probably had a little bit.
By the time night fell, they were all pretty tired from the long drive and their day of activities, so they decided to turn in relatively early. Each of them crawled into their own tent.
Do you need to say that? You already said that you set up individual tents. So each one crawls, all three climbed into one tent and had an orgy. Information that you don't...
Zipped up and settled in for a peaceful night's sleep. But around 1 a.m, John was suddenly jolted awake by this strange noise. It sounded like something was moving around their campsite. And at first, he was kind of groggy and disoriented, but as he lay there listening, he could tell that whatever was out there was big. And I mean...
Again, if you're in your campsite, you hear something rustling outside your tent. It woke you up. You don't know how big it is. Raccoons make a lot of noise. And if you haven't lived out, like been in the wilderness or have seen these things, a raccoon makes as much noise rummaging through food and everything. How do you know it's big? Did it make grunting noises? Has it said anything? Has it done something to make someone think it's really big?
Really big. The way
it's really big. It's not just big, it's really big.
it was moving through their camp and knocking things around, stepping on stuff. This wasn't just...
There should be a little caption that says, not actual photo.
Just a raccoon or a possum. It had to be something of substantial size. He's laying there in his sleeping bag and he's just thinking that this has got to be a bear. I mean, northern Nebraska has bears and they're out in the middle of nowhere.
Northern Nebraska also has foxes, cougars, lynxes, coyotes, wolves, bears, raccoons. The evidence seems pretty weak, Your Honor.
They're near water and they've been fishing all day, right? Those are perfect circumstances to draw on a bear. But even...
Or a raccoon, or a coyote, or a wolf, or a cougar, or a...
As he's convincing himself of this, he's starting to feel really uneasy because the sounds that he's hearing, these grunting, growling noises...
He never said, this is the first time he just mentioned grunting and growling noises. He never said that because that was like, how do you know it's such a big animal? And all of a sudden you're just bringing up the grunting and growling noises. Something that probably should have been mentioned earlier on. Now, if you've ever been camping and you've heard something outside your tent, that is one of the scariest things you can possibly, an incident you can go through, because the pitch blackness, and if it is a bear, I mean, that is
don't quite match any bear he's ever heard, or any other animal for that matter. Pretty soon, the noises are loud enough that they wake up the other two friends in their tents too.
So you're telling me, okay, you're telling me that the bear was only making enough noise because what you said before was the sounds were loud and the guy jumped up, John jumped up, but the other guys they only now just woke up. So it's like, well, if it's that much noise, you're telling me now the two other guys, they just woke up? If you're a police officer and you're investigating a crime, it's like, how if the sounds woke you up, how could it be that your two buddies are still sleeping? So it couldn't have been that noise. You said you knew it was something big. I stand corrected. It was something really big. So then if it's really big, it's got to be making a fuck of a lot of sound. And your two buddies slept through it? Doesn't make sense.
And so now, all three of them are lying in their separate shelters, wide awake, listening to this large animal shuffling around their campsite. And of course, they're all thinking the same thing, right? It's got to be a bear. But there's just things that aren't adding up.
It's got to be a bear. So there's got to be things that he says things are adding up. What things are not adding up?
This goes on for like 20 or 30 minutes, and then suddenly it just stops entirely. And
what wasn't adding up? So if something wasn't adding up at that point in time, you kind of like give the evidence as to why it wasn't adding up. Well, I poked my head out and I saw, did it look something like this? Thank you. That's for those of you who do not watch South Park, that is Man Bear Pig. Okay, that is Man Bear Pig.
Can't hear any more sounds, and so John quietly gets up, slowly unzips his tent, and he pokes his head around to get a look. But it's so dark that he can't see anything. But he can't hear where this large animal has gone either. But it looks like the coast is clear. So he climbs out of his tent and quickly goes over to where his friends are sleeping, and he just kind of gently taps the side of the tent to get their attention.
Hey guys, wake up. Guys, it's John, wake up.
And he whispers to them that he thinks whatever it was has moved on, but that they should all get up and stay awake for a while just in case. He just doesn't feel great about it.
Okay, so you think that maybe there was a bear just rustling through your camp. So you would have already shit the bed sheets, right? If you've ever been camping and you've heard a raccoon going through your stuff and you think it's a bear, I'm telling man, you poop. You shit your pants. And you think maybe it's a good idea you should stay awake for a while? You think maybe it's a good idea? I mean, if it was me and my two buds, we'd be back to back. Now, he hasn't mentioned anything about a gun or anything, so I guess they're not carrying weapons. I mean, I have a pretty big you got to have an axe. Like, where's the weaponry? Like, you got to have something. You got to have a knife. Go get, like, I think it's a good idea that maybe we stay up for a while. Well, how the fuck are you going to sleep after a...
His friends all agree, so all three of them climb out of their tents and...
Even as a screenwriter, right? I write so many screenplays. So when you write dialogue, the dialogue has to make sense given what's going on in the scene. If I wrote a screenplay and I added some of the elements that he's talking about at the certain points of time that he's talking about, I would put that screenplay in to, let's say, a film festival, and it would just be thrown out into the garbage.
Gather around the campfire, which by now is pretty much just glowing embers. So the first thing they decide to do is to add more wood to the fire to get it started again, and they figure having a big fire going will help keep whatever it is out there at a distance. And once that's done, they then sat around the fire and discussed what they had heard. And even as they reassured each other, they were still pretty spooked. And after sitting out...
How do you reassure each other? You're sitting around, you literally just heard a bear. I guess you hope that the bear's gone off, and don't you check your things? Don't you check, like, you heard this thing rummaging. They didn't even check what the bear was rummaging through. Like, there's so many holes in the story, right? So again, if you are a police officer and you bring your suspect in and they leave these massive gaping holes in their story that don't add up, you're kind of like, well, didn't you check to see what the bear took. Was it a bear? Did you check for anything? Nothing. They didn't. They just went. I mean, they just went back. I guess, they just made a fire. And
there for a while, they start getting drowsy and getting ready to head back to sleep. And suddenly, from off to the left, there's this incredible noise. And I'm talking extremely loud, like a massive tree falling over.
well, what was the noise? Was it a tree falling over? So if you're going to say it's a massive noise, what was the noise? Was it like a massive tree falling over, or was it a tree falling over? Or was it a big growling sound? Was it like, or was it? I mean, if the guy's telling me the story, I say, wait a sec, you're telling me a tree fell? Like it knocked a big tree over? Oh, no, it sounded like a big tree falling. Oh, okay. So
all three of them spin around toward the sound, but they can't see a thing beyond the light of the fire. And all three of them hear movement in the brush, maybe 30 or 40 feet away from them. And suddenly they hear this deep, angry growl coming from the darkness. Whatever it came from was intentionally keeping away from the light of the fire, like it didn't want to be seen.
It's very well known that Dogman, as well as Man, Bear, Pig, do not like to be seen. They prefer, I have this on good word from my good friend Eric Cartman, that they prefer not to be seen.
All three of them realized that the animal that this growl came out of did not sound at all like a bear. It was so much deeper and throatier. And so completely petrified by this, one of the friends runs back into his tent, grabs his handgun. I mean,
there's a handgun? There's a handgun? You only now put, like, there's so what are these motherfuckers have had a handgun the whole time? Dogman has been rustling around in the camp, and it's only now that one of them decides to say, I'll go get my gun. You got a fucking gun, man? Like, isn't that something? So in screenwriting, I'll tell you, it's a principle called Chekhov's gun. It's literally that's what it's called. If you're going to introduce a gun, let's say in the third act, you have to introduce it somewhere in the first act. So someone will be digging through a drawer, and they'll pull out and there's a gun in the drawer. And they go, that's where you see it in the first act. You just can't pull out a gun in the third act and shoot the person who's trying to kill you in a movie at the end of the movie. That gun has to be placed in the first act. Whether it's just a quick, hey, what's that? You keep a gun here? Yeah, just for, and then but basically one of these three guys had a gun. And only now is it coming to
he wasn't messing around. It was a welcome sight by all. They realized pretty quickly that they would need a lot more than a measly 9mm to survive, because from not far away comes a long howling noise.
A 9mm could put down a Dogman. Even one shot in the gut, the thing's good.
But this one is much more powerful than any normal howl. Thinking quickly, they start immediately building up their fire even more, and just throwing as much wood on the...
I have made fire! Just got that vision of Tom Hanks around the fire on Castaway.
They can to just get it big and bright and roaring, and they grab their powered lanterns and they turn them all on, placing...
Lanterns! They had lanterns this whole freaking time, and they just turned them on! They had a gun. They had lanterns. They had what? Why don't you go? You know what? Newsflash. They drove. Why don't you go into your freaking truck? You drove. Why don't you go into the truck with your gun and don't take the lantern? If you got a car, if you drove, it seems like the car would be a pretty good place at this point in time. Again, evidence, Your Honor, that should have been introduced a lot sooner.
Them strategically around the perimeter of the camp just to try and create this dome of light. Not only do they want to stay safe in the light, but they want to be able to get enough light cast out that they can see whatever this thing is if it does decide to come any closer. But despite all the light that they've created, their stalker doesn't seem discouraged.
The stalker doesn't. The Dogman, how do they know the Dogman doesn't seem discouraged? Like, is it like, again, he gets this, so like all this stuff comes out of nowhere, right? Out of left field. And again, from a pure screenwriting perspective, you're like, wait a second, you didn't say they had lanterns. What else have they got? Like, do an equipment checklist. Hey, mate, should I get my shotgun, guys? Are you fucking kidding me? This is like a comedy, right? Hey, let me go get my shotgun. You got a shotgun this whole freaking time when Dogman is hunting us? I mean, it's,
They could still hear it moving around out there, just circling back and forth. And sometimes it would be on one side, and then moments later, they'd hear it on the complete opposite side without ever hearing it go around.
because it would probably run around to the other side. Like Ninja Dogman. I mean, unless it has ventriloquism powers, which it may have powers of ventriloquism.
Clearly stalking them and testing their defenses, maybe waiting for the right
That is 4 legs. If Dogman is on 2 legs, why are you showing us a video of 2? There's a lot of movie content you could. I mean, if you go to Vecteezy, you know what? If any of you guys, if any of you guys do YouTube videos, go to Vecteezy.com. For very little money, you get unlimited downloads. No, I'm not getting paid for this. It's not a sponsor, but you could get some good content without having to resort to something that's erroneous.
opportunity. Realizing this, John and his unarmed friend grab some thick tree limbs to use as clubs.
They only just now armed themselves. This has been going on. Only now did they think it was a good idea to you. How come you don't have an axe? Why do you not have an axe camping? Who doesn't? Why do you not have a knife? Doesn't someone have a knife? Doesn't everyone bring a knife camping? If I show up camping and my friend is like, dude, where's your freaking knife? So well, I need a knife? Dude, you're camping. But they're gonna bring like, oh my.
They then form a small circle around their fire with their backs to it so they could be ready in case they were to be ambushed. This entire time, they don't see any movement or anything in the dark. Toby, one of the friends who's holding a large branch, suddenly freezes as he's looking off to his right. Now, John...
He freezes, so... Do you see Dogman? Is Dogman? Is Dogman there?
immediately notices and asks if he's okay, but Toby doesn't answer right away. And John realizes that whatever Toby is looking at is now just beyond the reach of the fire. In a moment...
So, okay, well, just look at it. It's just beyond the reach of the fire. So I think I saw something. Is he still staring? If he's beyond the reach of the fire, then that means the fire isn't illuminating two-legged Dogman.
A moment later, Toby finally seems to snap out of it, and he turns to his friends and just tells them there's something right there. But he's struggling because his voice is shaky and he's very scared.
Okay, look, man. His voice is shaky. He's struggling. Do you need to provide that information? When you're telling a story, he started to he was shaky and he was very scared. I mean, this is...
He tells what he thinks it might be, but none of his friends have a clue what on earth he's talking about. It was very obvious he was struggling to find the words to describe what he saw. However, none of them believed what he suggested. But
I saw a dog, 2 legs. Again. Is this what you saw, young man? Did it look anything like... Did it look anything like Man Bear Pig? It was not Dogman. Man Bear Pig exists. I know because I do know Eric Cartman is a good friend of mine.
incredibly insistent and was like, guys, I know what it is we're dealing with here. It's the only thing that makes sense. And as soon as he said this, he realized that the thing off to his right wasn't there anymore. And then came the grunting sounds and the growling and the howling, still extremely close by. And in fact, John later recounted that these sounds were so strange.
I thought they had lanterns. Remember they put the lanterns out on the edge, like creating a barrier. Again, I don't know. They drove. I don't know why they just didn't. Didn't someone say, guys, can we just jump in the truck? I mean, even if they all came together, okay, go to the truck, lock the door. Man, bear, pig can't get in, you know. I don't know.
That it kind of sounded like whatever this animal was trying to communicate with them. But by this point, all of them were
Trying to communicate with them. Like, what do you mean? How do you know an animal is trying to communicate with you? Was it doing like Titanic is sinking, send help? The animal, the Dogman, was trying to communicate with them, and they totally fucking missed it. How do you know an animal is trying to communicate with you? Well, I know like a dog, right? If you got a dog, it like barks at you. My dad used to always say when a dog is barking, it's talking. That's his way of speaking, right? Dogs bark. They're communicating. Let them. I don't know how Dogman communicates. If someone knows,
feeling pretty grim about the situation because they had no idea what animal they were up against. They had never dealt with something like this before. And the only thing they could do was keep their backs to the fire and keep their perimeter defended. After this continued on for about another 10 minutes, this animal began to get closer to the firelight, enough to where John could actually start to see it. One of John's friends saw this and started going into a full-blown panic. He immediately fired a shot into the ground near where this thing was standing.
I mean, I find that pretty amazing. It fires a shot into the ground. How do you know you hit the ground? So it's standing 50 feet, 75, 100 feet away. You fire a shot in the dark and you know you hit the ground. How do you know you hit the ground? Like there are Navy SEALs that I'm sure would have no idea if they took a shot in the dark. Where'd that shot go? Oh, it went in the ground, just about 2 feet in front of his feet. Really? You know that?
And as soon as that happened, this animal jumped backwards into the dark, and John and his friends could hear it kind of scurrying away, and they could hear it crashing through the underbrush and it moving away from them. But it only lasted a few seconds because then all the sounds stopped. It was evident right then and there that this retreat wasn't an escape attempt. It was still out there and waiting for the right opportunity to come back. They weighed their options and kicked the idea.
Is that an actual image from the night? That is, at least you got to put not actual image. Like if someone believes like that is an actual image of what I am speechless. I am without speech.
Around of leaving right then and there, but the idea that this unknown predator could be very close frightened them. With very limited light, it would be like walking into a death trap, and they realized their best course of action would just be to keep an eye out, make it through the night, and once they had daylight on their side and they could see, then they would leave.
Well, why don't you just go into the truck? Like none of this would happen, right? None of this would have happened if John would have just at first, and his buddies were still sleeping through the entire ruckus, which I don't know how, could have grabbed the gun and said, okay, guys, let's just let's get to the truck, hang out in the truck. And none of this would have happened. They had a gun. They had lanterns. They had a whole bunch of stuff. None of this would have happened. All they had to do was go into the truck, but they never, Your Honor, I present to you evidence to call this bullshit.
So of course, it's no surprise that sleep did not come, but they took all the proper precautions. They kept their fire built up as high as they possibly could, their guns at the ready, and
now it's guns. Did you hear that? Guns. Plural. Guns. There was only one gun. Now there's guns. Where did the other guns come from? And they built that fire high. So John had a gun and made it very clear that that was the only gun because the other guys picked up. They didn't even have axes or knives. They had to pick up wood as a club. But now there's guns. Now we have plural.
Sure enough, whatever animal this was came back and continued prowling around. And sometimes when they listened really closely, they could hear it coming so close that they could hear its breathing.
So they could hear it coming so close, but the dude already said they put lanterns out to build a light barrier, right? So basically you put lanterns out, you're going to have at least 100 feet. But somehow this thing got so close you could hear its breathing. The problem with this guy, and the channel is called What Lurks Beneath. It's called, What Lurks Beneath. You could go there, watch, you could watch the video. I mean, this is the video, but he forgets what he said 1 minute previous. And that's usually when, any police officer, investigator will tell you, They forget what they said 1 or 2 minutes before.
It was watching their every movement, just waiting for the right moment to strike. In what felt like...
How do you know it was waiting for the perfect time to strike? Like, I mean, we're getting the antagonist point of view now. Like, this is literally from a screenplay. Like, you're literally getting the antagonist point of view. How? Guns? One gun?
A night of living hell, dawn finally came. Now, with the sun shining brightly, there were no strange noises or sounds or any evidence that this large animal was nearby. But they didn't take time to thoroughly investigate. They used it as an opportunity to get the heck out of Dodge. The animal that John and his 2 friends saw was most certainly not a bear. At least, it didn't look like it.
It didn't look like... Oh, there's...
What they described was
what's on your screen. What they described is man, bear, pig.
A large bipedal wolf, 7 to 7.5 feet tall, covered in white and gray fur, complete.
So they only got quick little snippets of, but they're able to describe this thing pretty damn good. It got so close that they could hear its breathing in their ears. How did it get through the wall of light that you put up? And didn't you have guns? I thought you had guns, not gun. You could have shot it if it got that close. I'm just saying.
With a pair of pointed ears and reflecting yellowish eyes. It was evident that this clearly wasn't someone in a costume. The incredible...
I didn't think it... Okay. Have you seen the football mascots? Right? Have you seen the football mascots? That's what someone in a costume looks like. That's like... There is someone in the northern Nebraska who is in a dog costume scaring people.
Muscle mass of this animal was like that of a bodybuilder. The arms hung...
I was gonna... No, I'm not gonna say.
Passed down the knees and had what appeared to be actual hands with fingers, each one ending in long, black, curved claws.
That's a lot of detail. That's a lot of detail for an incident. Like, they're describing this thing down to the claws, black claws. There's a lot of detail going on here, my friends. A lot of detail.
Not paws, but actual hands with fingers. And your eyes naturally go down, right, of the torso. They could see...
What are you trying to say? What are you saying my eyes went down to its torso? Oh, what the fuck are you trying to say, motherfucker? You saying it turned me on? Did it turn John on because his eyes went down to its torso?
That, like a canine, its torso tapered down at its waist. And even the back legs were hawk-jointed like a dog's. Now, when Toby tried to explain to John and their other friend...
Toby, this is the first time we got a second name. Did I miss something? Did I
what he was pretty sure this was, he believed they had encountered a Dogman.
Okay. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, I need, or it was a dog. It was a dog man. It was a freaking dog man, my friend. This is a science channel. And all I say is let the truth come out in a way that is consistent with the laws of physics, common sense. That is literally the funniest laugh on the internet, right there. Okay.
But unfortunately, what they really encountered that night will remain a mystery. Similarly,
it was Dogman. Wait a sec, you can't...
Years ago, another camper had an equally terrifying experience. On the night of February 2nd, 2004, a man named Michael Lacoma was camping near Fresno alone. He found a nice little spot in the wilderness to set up, but
Is this actual footage? Like, why don't you put there? Oh, I should say. Oh, okay. It doesn't say.
at some point during the night when everything was quiet, he began hearing strange.
Sometime during the night when everything was quiet. When you're out camping, basically throughout the night, the whole fucking night is quiet. Unless a raccoon comes and rummages through your stuff. And if you're going to keep stuff out, put it in your car. That's why the animals come.
Noises right up the slope behind his tent. The sounds were similar to something like rummaging around, but it was very close to his camp. Michael decided.
But it was. Okay, you understand how stupid that sounds. The sounds were like rummaging, but it was close to his camp. Well, of course it was close to his camp. Where do you think he keeps his stuff? 200 feet by the latrine? Where do you put your food? I always put my food by the latrine. What the fuck? You heard rummaging, but it sounded close to... Your Honor, this is obviously someone who is embellishing the truth.
To investigate, he grabbed his camera and stepped outside and scanned the ridge. But instantly, he saw it. And from where he could tell, it almost looked like a dog, except it was way too large, so that didn't make any sense. The video he captured may be brief, but if it's genuine footage, it is completely terrifying. Unfortunately, he shot this video with a hairdryer, but hey.
Okay, you gotta do it. Where is it? Where is it? This way. A hairdryer? What am I listening to? People actually believe. I think this video has 400,000 views. People. This is part, like, honestly, this is part of what the godless universe is about. And look, I don't care. Keep your religion. It just means that we will call out the bullshit. This is a little bullshit. This is a little bit of a bullshit. Like,
it was filmed in 2004. Whatever Michael captured on camera seems to show a dark figure coming down the slope, and it's clearly bounding back and forth. Now, Fresno is a long way from Nebraska, but the point still stands that if something like this can exist in California, then there's no reason it couldn't exist in a less densely populated state like Nebraska.
that must be Dogman. Do you see that? Did you see that? My friends, you have just seen Man Bear Pig. Just kidding. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Years later, in the early morning hours of October 5th, 2016, two brothers named Charlie and Michael were waiting for the school bus to arrive in Douglas County, Nebraska. Because of the time of year, it wasn't quite morning yet. It was still pretty dark out. But for these two, the bus stop was only like 3 blocks away from their house, so this was very routine for them. Mike, the older brother, was lost in thought about a test that he had that day when he noticed that something was out of place.
That's a lot of specific information. I was lost in thought about a test I had that day. Oh, okay, well.
His younger brother was usually a lot more talkative in the mornings, basically just yapping his ear off, but today he was unusually silent. And so when Mike looked over to see what was wrong, because he could sense there was something wrong with Charlie, his brother appeared physically shaken by something.
He must have seen something. He must have seen something. Was it this? Okay.
Just nonstop staring down the street into what little light was cresting above the horizon. So Mike looked at Charlie for a second, very confused, and he reached out and shook Charlie's shoulder, being like, "What's wrong, dude? Like, what's the issue?" Almost out of panic, Charlie shushed him, but never took his eyes off the horizon, what Michael thought he was staring at. This was obviously very strange, and now Mike was a little freaked out by this, and so he turned to look in the same direction his brother was, trying to figure out what the heck he was looking at.
See, that is what you're looking at. There is two brothers looking down at the same thing. It just seems that's a huge explanation for like we just spent 2 minutes to I think I saw something and both brothers turn. Like literally we spent 2 minutes.
And when he looked, he didn't see anything. So he's like, okay, my brother's either playing a trick on me or something, but right as he's getting ready to turn to face his brother and call him out for pulling a prank, he sees movement about 100 yards down the road, right at the edge of the tree line where there are street lights.
Okay.
He's still very confused as to why his brother's acting paranoid about a deer over here. And so he starts to focus on the spot and he's squinting to try and make out what kind of deer it is. And he's convinced.
What kind of deer it is? Well, what kind of deer are there? Like what have you was it like a medium brown with some white on it? Did it look like Bambi? What kind of deer is it? When you tell a friend or a friend tells you, "Hey, I saw a deer today," like where I live, I just actually saw 3 of them. Like I was coming back from the gym at like 5 a.m. and I saw 3 deer. And I told some friends, "Hey, I saw 3 deer." Not once. Well, what kind was it? Like I don't even. What are you asking me? What kind of fucking deer? I don't even. There's more than one kind of deer.
It's probably a big, large buck or something. But as Mike continued to watch, he started to see more and more movement, and he realized that what they were watching was not a deer. Whatever animal this was actually on 2 legs and was very large. And within about...
It was on 2 legs and it was very large. Was it Shaq?
2 seconds, this animal sprints across the road and then quickly vanishes between 2 houses on the opposite side. Just like that, it's gone. And both brothers were just completely terrified by what they saw. They didn't...
Why? Okay, why? They thought they saw a deer. Why were they terrified? You haven't given any reason for anyone to be terrified. From a screenwriting perspective, if you're going to make something, and some of my horror screenplays have done very well on the International Film Festival circuit. I love horror. I do. If you're going to give reason for someone to be scared, you're not going to say, well, then he turned and saw a deer and it ran away. It's fucking terrifying. It's fucking terrifying.
Really say anything to each other. I mean, what was there to say? They just kept scanning the darkness, hoping that whatever it was did not come toward them, even though the bus would only be there in a few moments. As soon as the bus showed up and the door swung open, they both practically flew in and took their seats faster than any of their friends had ever seen.
Wow. Every friend mentioned that day. Was there anything weird that you saw about the 2 boys? Well, they rushed into the bus faster than we've ever seen because we were taking specific notice that morning. They really ran fast into the bus because they saw a deer 200 feet that way, run into the dark, and they were scared, my friends.
They were clearly spooked, but they didn't really want to talk about it. And the entire time, both brothers were just staring out the window intently. They were convinced that this thing was going to come and attack the bus.
Why were they convinced that it was going to attack the bus? It showed no aggression. It was just, they thought it was a deer a couple 100 feet that ran off into the darkness. Now they think this buck is going to attack the bus. Have you seen the size of a frickin' bus? Those yellow buses are frickin' big. Unless you're in the short bus, it's a little smaller. Hey, you know what? You might be able to find me in the short bus. Just say it. I'll ride the short bus. Anyone?
Or at least follow them to the school. The brother who would later retell this account was thoroughly convinced that based on what they both saw, it had to have been a dogman. The account was eventually...
That's all the evidence. See, that's all the evidence you need. Usually in science, there's like a scientific method, a process by which you go through and actively analyze the scene. You'll go through like... That's all the evidence I need. I am convinced. No, that was the dogman. That's, a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old saying that they saw
submitted to the
Why do
North
you need
American
more
Dogman
evidence?
Project, where hundreds of other eyewitnesses have submitted their own accounts, recordings, and photos. Fast forward 4 years later. In 2020, at the very southern tip of Texas, down by the Mexico border in a place called San Benito, a man named Ruben and his friend were out fishing for alligator gar. And you know how it is when you're out there fishing. I mean, sure, you want to catch some fish, but you're also there for the experience, right?
Every time I've gone fishing with my friends, because I don't smoke marijuana, they just get stoned. That's all they do. They don't even care about fishing. They actively say it. Well, we don't care about fishing. I hate fishing. I freaking hate fishing. I'll go wakeboarding, man. If I do something on the water, I'll go wakeboarding or wake surfing. Don't friggin' take me fishing, because that's where Dogman shows up. I want to do some wakeboarding. Call Parks Bonifay. Get my wakeboard, get my X-Craft fired up. I'm doing some wakeboarding, and I hope I see Dogman. That's what I'm saying. I'm not fishing.
The chance to catch up with a friend or just to get some peace and quiet in nature. And so Ruben and his friend are chatting away. Their lines were already cast into the water, and they both noticed something on the opposite shoreline. Whatever it was seemed so strange that Ruben was like, you know what? I better document this. So he pulled out his phone and starts recording. And strangely, he captures something. Now, it looks like a large dog, but then we can see this thing stand up on two legs and...
Is it AI or is it not AI? And that was actually something I was going to mention in the very first one with John, where he finds the gun and then more guns show up and then like stuff. Didn't you have a phone? Didn't you didn't you start recording? I totally forgot to mention that in the first one, where the first Dogman story. Even the two kids. Why didn't you pull the phones? Everything's, dear God, you can't do anything in this world without it being recorded. Nothing. There'd be like 5 different versions of what you spit on the ground. It's like, well, 5 people recorded it. It's like it'll hit TikTok later that afternoon.
You can hear how amazed both Ruben and his friend are when this happens. Not sure what to do with the footage, Ruben eventually sent this to the website True Horror Stories of Texas, and it's some of the shakiest...
That sounds like a authorized true story dealer. I put a lot of credibility on that organization.
Video you'll ever see, thanks to the rough water and heavy wind. The camera doesn't even pan over to the figure until about 45 seconds in, and once it does, it's tough to keep it in frame. What's interesting is you can hear how the witnesses think it's just a dog at first, and you can hear their amazement when it stands up. So whatever it shows, it's either a human being or something else. Whether or not we're seeing a cryptid here or it's just something more explainable is up to you to decide.
Do you seriously, you're watching what I'm watching? Do you literally see anything? This is the evidence. Oh my God. This is why science, I'll tell you, science is the only world's superpower. That's the best way to put it. Science is the world's only superpower. It destroys bullshit. This, my friends, this is the evidence that they have taken. What's your evidence that Dogman exists? Well, I've got this shaky video that looks like something on the other side of the lake, and it looks like, I used to go wakeboarding 5 times a week, for like 5 or 6 months straight, right? Lake Okanagan, baby. That's one of the best places to wakeboard. In Florida, Florida's got some good flat lakes, really good wakeboarding lakes. I've been in the wilderness. I want to see Dogman. I want to see Man Bear Pig. If I took a video like this and I went to my friends, I saw Dogman. Where is that? The little thing. How do you not see Dogman in that video? This is the evidence. This is the level of evidence that is required for these people to say and to create a YouTube video claiming that Dogman exists.
But for now, the mystery remains. Around March of 2020, a 15-year-old girl named Sherry was getting everything prepared for what would be her perfect spring break adventure. At the time, she lived with her family in Omaha, Nebraska. Despite dealing with some very severe insomnia and anxiety, she spent a lot of her time outdoors and would often go hunting and hiking.
That's a strange place to mention insomnia and anxiety. Like, you're already setting up that she's a deficient human being. And that's kind of like when you're screenwriting, that's kind of the things like you would set up without being so literal. Like, and from a screenwriting perspective, you want to show, not tell, right? He's just basically telling everything. But you're setting up the character, which is now the protagonist in his story, with a deficiency. With that deficiency, you must question or not question her story.
A few weeks before this, her two best friends, Holly, who was 16, and Todd, who was 15, suggested that they go on a week-long backpacking trip in the Nebraska National Forest. She wanted to make sure she had everything she needed because this was going to be a big deal. The three of them had actually been hiking together for years and knew each other very well. And there was just that innate trust there, so they felt very comfortable surviving out in the wilderness alone for a whole week at a time.
I mean, that whole last statement. Did you not find that incredibly awkward? I mean, you could rewind it and listen back to it. How freaking awkward was that? If I'm even telling a bullshit story, like, even if I'm lying about something, it's not something that's not something I'm gonna say because I know it's gonna sound like bullshit, right?
On the morning they were supposed to leave, Holly picked up Sherry and Todd in her car because she had just gotten her license, and they began to drive and head out to the Nebraska National Forest. The entire way there, they went over all the things they were going to do, the trails they were going to go up.
I mean, that's important information. And because while they drove there, during my Dogman story, to try and suggest to you that Dogman exists, they spent the entire time talking about how much fun they were going to have, which is very important information.
And down and explore, and just how much fun this was going to be. They were still very young, so it was very exciting. But because they lived several hours away, they didn't arrive at the trailhead until later in the afternoon.
Now that's important from again, screenwriting. If you're going to write a horror, you want to isolate the characters, right? That's why things are always done in a house somewhere far off. You need to isolate the characters. There needs to be a reason why those characters can't just run away to safety. Isolate them. You need to isolate them. I mean, that's the first rule of horror. But you got to think of ingenious ways to be isolated. You just can't do this. The more cookie cutter it becomes, the more stupid the horror movie is. That's why you really got to think of creative ways. But here you're just talking about, these already laid the insomnia and stress and all this other garbage. They're young. My dad used to always say, young and stupid. Donnie, you're young and stupid. All right, well, that's... So he's isolating the three young girls, right? And that's a perfect horror. Don't forget the OR, horror setup.
But this wasn't an issue. Their plan was to initially hike about 5 or so miles and then set up camp before it got too dark.
5-mile hike? Teenage girls are going to hike 5 miles from where they park into the wilderness. 5 miles. And a hike. You know how long a 5-mile hike takes? In the wilderness. A 5-mile hike. What the fuck are you talking about, brother?
All three pulled out their packs and gear from the back and made sure they had everything they needed before heading off into the forest.
Did they have a handgun or something? Or something to protect themselves? A gun? It's like something?
They could not have chosen a better day to do this either. The weather was perfect. You know, that nice 75 degrees with a slight breeze. And it was just very peaceful.
Do I ever?
You know, how hikes are supposed to be. After a few hours, they had already made it 5 miles down the trail.
Only 5 miles. Have you gone hiking 5 freaking miles? Granted, what were they, 15, 16, 17? Oh, man, I would love to be that young. Give me 1 week of being 17 again. I want to know what it feels like. I just want to know what it feels like. That's it. But even 5-mile hike. Oh my God, in the wilderness? This dude has never hiked 5 miles. He's never hiked 1 mile in the wilderness.
Now was the time that they decided to find a little clearing off the trail where they could set up camp. They didn't pack super heavy though. They only brought a 2-person tent and a hammock.
There's 3 of them. A two-person tent and a hammock. Wasn't there 3 of them? Wait a second. Why would you, if you're going like teenage girls, are going out into the wilderness 5 miles. 5 miles. Have they not seen all the slasher movies? Every slasher movie, the young girls get. I highly doubt that 3 young girls are going to be walking 5 miles into the wilderness with minimal stuff. Just a little knapsack, a little tent. The setup is pretty good, right? Unbelievable, but the setup is pretty good.
Original plan was that Sherry and her friend would share the tent since they were both girls, and Todd would sleep in the hammock. While they were setting
So there was 2. I thought there was 3.
everything up, Sherry began to get really anxious over her insomnia. She knew that if she was in the tent with her friend, well, she'd probably keep her awake all night just from her constant tossing and turning.
Right, because, hey, look, I got insomnia, so I might be tossing and turning, so I might just keep you awake. Like, how do you know? You're out in the wilderness. You just hiked 5 miles. You just hiked 5 miles. Are you tired? No.
And since Sherry was a good friend, she didn't really want to keep her up on the very first night of their trip. So she's like, look, what if you and Todd sleep in the tent and I take the hammock? And Todd was like, are you sure? Is that really something you want to do? The hammock isn't going to be very comfortable, but she was insistent, and she was like, the hammock will be a great chance for me.
Now, if you guys have all been camping, right? You've all been, has everyone been camping? Have you been in the wilderness at night? Pitch black. We are all innately scared of darkness, of night, right? We are all have an innate fear, because without that innate fear, that's what keeps us alive. You're going to tell me a 15, 16-year-old girl is now going to just sleep out in a hammock, and she's okay with that. That's cool. Just the bugs alone would freak out a teenager. The bugs alone. But it already sounds incredulous. This is like so stupid. I don't want to be so mean, but it just sounds absolutely asinine. If I wrote a screenplay like this, I would read back and go, what the fuck am I thinking? Like, this is honestly stupid. At least if you're going to make up a story or embellish a story, get better storytelling techniques.
Me to get some fresh air, and I could rock back and forth. It's fine. Because they were running out of daylight, after they got everything set up, they got a roaring fire and dinner was cooked. And from there, they just kind of.
What was for dinner? How come that? That was it. They had a roaring fire and dinner was cooked. That's all you need to know. That's the important information. I didn't even know why we even needed. They ate and they went to sleep. Why we need to do?
Sat around talking and really enjoying the first night of their camping trip together.
Okay, that is a big fucking fire. But that's a guy. That's a dude.
In fact, they were having such a good time that before they knew it,
there is so much video. So if you watch Godless Universe, if you watch the videos that I put up, usually 1 or 2 a week, there is so much video available on Vecteezy, on Adobe Stock, on Shutterstock. I also use Envato, and I use Artlist. I mean, there's so much video that I have to choose from. Or if I need something specific, I will ask one of my guys who are really good at AI to give me especially with space stuff, right? Black hole stuff. Because you don't want to repurpose the same black hole stuff that everyone else does, right? This guy gets hundreds of thousands of views on some of his videos. Dude, you cannot create a video that matches your story any better. That was a dude by a big campfire. You're saying there's 2 teenagers. What I'm saying is, throw some bucks into your videos and show us 2 young females around a campfire. That was help your storytelling, build your story. Help me, help you. Help me, help you.
It was already 2 o'clock in the morning. They were so amped up from the day that they weren't really that exhausted, but
so they both have insomnia. So who was sleeping on the hammock really didn't friggin' matter.
Realized that at this point, they should probably try and get some sleep because of, they had a long day of
it's 2 in the morning. Maybe it's 2 in the morning.
Hiking planned. It didn't take long for Holly and Todd to pass out in the tent. And of course, there is Sherry tucked away in the hammock between the 2 trees, and her brain is just
There was 3 of them. You see, there was 3 of them. He was talking for a while that there was 2 of them. He doesn't, like, there was 3 of them. Oh my God. This is so bad. Don't you like go and check your own work? Okay, I always, like, I watch my video back 3-4 times before I post it, you know? I mean, especially for facts, it's science facts. So if you do like a video about, I just did a video on Battlestar Galactica, right? On their propulsion system, you know, the fictitious propulsion system that they have. You go back and you listen, okay? Because someone's going to know you screwed up here, you screwed up here, you screwed up here. And if you're trying to tell a story about Dogman, you better get your shit straight.
Going crazy, right? She's wired. He's thinking, oh crap, I gotta be up in the morning. We have a long day tomorrow. What's going on? Come on, brain, just shut down.
Well, why were you up till 2 a.m? Like, now they're concerned they're up too late when they were already up till 2 a.m. And at 2 a.m, they get concerned that they're up at 2 a.m. And now they're thinking, oh, geez, could you please have some, as long as it's legal in your area of domicile, have some marijuana. That'll put you. I don't do it. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke drugs. I don't do any drugs. I don't need drugs. I don't need. But
after laying there thinking that for a while, she's like, well, okay, what if I just lay here and I just look up at the stars?
Just listen to the details that he gives. This is utter asinine.
And maybe enjoy the swaying back and forth. Maybe that'll relax me. So she did that for about 10 or so minutes, but that wasn't working. So she's like,
did she literally, when she's telling her story, did she give this recount? This is how she told her story back. So I laid there and I tried to sleep and I'm watching the stars and this is how she recanted her story? Literally?
You know what? If I'm going to be awake, I might as well be productive. Very carefully and quietly, she gets out of the hammock, goes over to the fire. She's like, well, maybe I should build it up a little more and kind of just, keep it going.
Sure. Okay.
She throws a couple of logs on just to kind of keep it low and slow.
Do you think at times he's being like, don't you just say so? She decides to go over to the fire's going out, so she decides to go to the fire and throw some more wood on. But no, he spends like a minute describing. That's usually when someone's bullshitting. Just saying.
And she kind of just stood there for a moment, really enjoying the warmth. She's trying to do everything she can to help tire her brain out and just put her body into sleep mode. She decides that she needs to go back over to the hammock to lay down once and for all, and she is going to go to sleep no matter what.
Well, she decides she just went to go put. You listen. Do you hear how dumb this story sounds? She just got up to stoke the fire. Then she decides to go back to the hammock. So are you going to describe every decision in her mind? No one tells a story like this. Nobody. Even when they're stoned. Because I got friends who get stoned once in a while, okay?
So as she's climbing back in, she notices something. The night around her has gone completely silent, and she can feel her anxiety welling up again.
So the night before wasn't silent? It was full of other noises, and now it's silent? What time in the morning is it? What happened? I thought, what?
Her body's reacting to something wrong. And so she starts to get more and more paranoid because out of all the times she's been in the forest before, you guys know, there's always some kind of ambient noise. So to not have anything is...
You guys know. Obviously, Dogman is coming and every little creature scurried off. Every little creature has scurried off because Dogman is approaching.
It's just really strange and unsettling. As these thoughts are running through her mind, she hears this strange sound like something dragging against the side of the tent. It's not quick and rushed. It's very slow and deliberate.
I thought she was in the hammock. Wasn't she just in the... Are we talking... Okay, wait. Are we talking about the girl in the hammock or the tent? Are we... What the... Who the fuck are we talking about now? I thought she went back to the hammock. Is it the tent or the frickin' hammock? Did it look like this? won't do it. I won't do
like
it.
something running along the fabric. Now, as she's listening very closely, she realizes that it's not soft, that whatever's raking across the tent is hard. And so she calls out to her friends, asking if they're awake. She's convinced they're playing a prank on her, or there's something seriously wrong.
Wouldn't you just say, if someone's playing a prank, you go like, fuck off, guys, let me sleep, I'm tired. That's what teenage girls. Teenage girls are not going to sleep alone in the frickin' these teenage girls just hiked 5 miles wherever they park. They hiked 5 miles. Teenage girls are not going to sleep alone in the middle of the frickin' woods. They'll be cuddled together in one tent, thinking this was a really bad, stupid idea. One's got insomnia and anxiety, and I'm sure the other ones do as well.
And when there was no response from the tent, she realized that her gut instincts were wrong.
Okay, see, he's confused again. Was it the tent or the hammock? When there was no response from the tent, who are you? Who is speaking to who here? Did I miss something? Should I be paying attention more? Because I feel like I'm literally I think he's more confused than anyone else.
Right. It took nearly all of her to keep from going into a full-blown panic. The dragging sounds had stopped, and she thought that maybe she had just imagined it. But no sooner had she thought that when something hard jabbed the bottom of her hammock. And immediately, her whole body tenses, her hand darts out toward her headlamp, which is hanging on the side of the hammock.
Well, we didn't hear that information. That's new information. So she had a lantern hanging on her hammock, and something just poked her in the bum. Is that what you're saying? Something literally just poked her in the bum. Something just poked the teenager in the bum in a hammock. You're a sick man. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. It's a joke.
And she grabs it, clicks it on, and when she does that...
Why wouldn't you just keep it on then? Like, if she's scared, why wouldn't you just leave the freaking lantern on? Like, information we should have known an hour ago.
When that beam of light shoots out into the dark, she sees this large, hairy person standing over her.
Man, bear, pig.
Tall, like 8 or so feet, and is clearly standing on 2 legs, staring down at her. In the light of her headlamp, she could see that this thing's eyes are red, and that the features of
the eyes are red. 8 feet tall, and the eyes are red. That's fucking werewolf.
The face are both wolf and human.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Photos may not be actual photos from the evening, but that's at least you gotta say not actual photo. We photoshopped this. I can Photoshop that in 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Anyone who's done Photoshop or done AI or done Premiere Pro or whatever, I mean, is that what she saw? She just had a lantern and
And it's got pointed ears, like they've been damaged or twisted, and these massive gnarled teeth and claws. This thing looked like a killing machine.
Again, a lot of detail. She saw all that detail. It had gnarly claws and sharp teeth. Monty Python, the killer rabbit. Remember when that magician guy, he's got like bark teeth? Remember the killer rabbit? That's what she saw. She saw the killer rabbit. Monty Python, circa 1979. Was it 79 or 80? Monty Python. It's got sharp teeth.
Naturally, she just starts screaming as loud as she can. She is completely terrified.
Naturally.
And when she does this animal also makes a noise that kind of somewhere between a scream and a howl. And it's so loud and visceral that Sherry was convinced that she would pass out from the fear alone.
That's have you ever passed out from fear alone? You don't think about it. I would imagine you don't think I haven't, but I would imagine you get to that point of passing out. You're not really thinking, boy, I think I might pass out from the fear alone. I'm so terrified. 3 teenage girls hiked 5 miles. They thought it was, and then there's one is sleeping out in a hammock in the middle of the darkness. She had a lantern above her, never decided to turn it on until Dogman shows up. And the other 2 or 3. We don't even know if there's 2 or 3 girls. Some accounts tell us there's 2. Some accounts tell us there's 3. We don't know for sure on this story.
Now, off to her left, she hears Todd and them start screaming, "What the heck is that?" And so she looks over and sees that both of them are now out of the tent, still half asleep, but are clearly scared from the spectacle that's happening.
They were already awake. He already said that they were awake because something scratched on the tent and they say, "Hey, stop that." But now they're back asleep again. Like, guys, are you listening to the same story I'm listening to? They were just awake a minute ago, but now like they're groggy.
Happening right outside.
Incredible.
In response to this animal jumps straight up into the tree, grabs right up above Sherry's hammock, and with crazy agility starts climbing limb after limb, pulling itself further up the trunk into the canopy. And in seconds, she's able to see more details about it.
This is what we've been scared of. Rocket! We've been scared of fucking Rocket the whole time. Where's Groot? Me Groot. We've been scared of Rocket the whole fucking time. Where's Chris Pratt? Can I call Chris Pratt? What the fuck? What was the actor's name? The guy, you know, who played Rocket. Chris Pratt just texted me.
Its appearance, and she saw that it had gray silverish fur, and then it had this kind of black mane that ran along this weird hump between its shoulders and its back.
Dogman.
They're all three screaming, and so Sherry jumps up. She doesn't have her shoes on, and all three of them run as fast as they can back toward the trail. Now keep in mind that they're like 4 to 5 miles away from their vehicle, so this isn't just a quick, brisk walk back to the car.
That's why, again, I wrote many screenplays. I've won many awards. If you're going to write a screenplay, if you're going to write a horror story, you isolate the protagonists. You isolate the protagonists. And you make it in a way that they can't escape. So, but of course it has to make sense. The motivation has to make sense. You're telling me, again, I will say it. If I was writing a screenplay and I had to convince you that there was 3 teenagers that were going to walk 5 miles after driving 20 miles into the wilderness, you're going to have a hard time believing my bullshit story. You're going to have a hard time believing my bullshit story. Motivation. Everything in a screenplay boils down to motivation. In the inciting incident, after we set up the characters, we go to the inciting incident and we move on for the characters to get their marching papers. This is just bad storytelling. This is really
but they're
bad
so overcome with fear and adrenaline and the will to survive that they don't care. They can hear noises in the branches above them, and although they're not sure if that thing was following them, they're convinced it's hunting them. Through a feat of adrenaline and fear, they managed to make it all the way back to their vehicle, and it's unclear if they had a light with them. I assume they did.
What did I? If I can I quote Robert Downey Jr. in The GOAT Tropic Thunder? What the fuck did I just hear? This is Hollywood. Everyone's gay once in a while. What the fuck did I? They just decided to run 4 miles back. They weren't sure if they had a light with them, so they jumped in there. They weren't sure, but they ran 4 miles back. Have you ever run? I go to the gym at 3 a.m. every morning. Like I do. I do my kickboxing. I was a kickboxer. I do my workout. Then I go on the treadmill. I do like 1.5 miles of the treadmill after work in the bag. 1.5 miles. 2 miles is tough, man. 4 or 5 miles in the wilderness. Granted, they're teenagers. Why does this story just continually become more and more asinine?
But they obviously left and drove all the way back to Omaha right then and there. Even though they were beyond exhausted from this ordeal, they were so amped up on adrenaline that they had to contact the authorities about what they saw and experienced. And then they realized, well, we can't really tell them what we saw. We just need to say that we had an emergency. I mean, we have to get our equipment back. Neither of them really wanted to go back and do it. So the next day, they got a hold of a park ranger and they explained to them where they were at. the exact coordinates and what they were doing. And
The exact coordinates. The exact. Hey, Captain, what are your coordinates? I'm gonna beam me out of Dogman hell. The exact coordinates. Coordinates. Teenagers, they deal with coordinates. Well, what are they? What, can you tell me what your coordinates are? What their coordinates? It was freaking Rocket Raccoon, man. I'm gonna call Bradley Cooper. Were you in Omaha in your Rocket Raccoon suit? This is the evidence for Dogman. This is the okay. I'm a science guy. I love science, right? Science all the way. If this is the evidence for Dogman, I gotta call bullshit. If you just listen to any of this, evidence for Dogman, what I saw was this. Eric Cartman and Man Bear Pig. If you've just listened to this video about the evidence that he is claiming, like if we use this evidence in just basic science, this style of evidence, could you imagine? We wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have cell phones. We wouldn't have phones. We wouldn't have cars. We would just have stories around a campfire. We'd still be throwing spears. We'd still be.
they just explained that they had an emergency in the middle of the night and had to abandon everything. If this ranger could go and retrieve their belongings, well, that'd be great. The ranger on the other end was basically like, yeah, sure, no problem. You know, he took.
There is no ranger. So 3 teenagers just run because they were attacked by Dogman 4 miles into the woods. And you're telling me a park ranger, after hearing a story that they were just scared and ran, a park ranger is going to spend their entire day going 5 miles into the woods to collect their belongings. A park ranger was basically a police officer of the forest. A park ranger. Yo, okay, I'll go pick up your stuff. Don't worry. Yes, there have been Dogman sightings. I am just flabbergasted.
Took down the location, told them that they would go check it out. And as it turns out, they actually got a call back from this ranger later that day, and he was very upset. And after going to the exact coordinates given, there was nothing there. In fact, there was no sign that anyone had ever camped there. He went off on them, saying that these kids were lying and trying to make up a story for attention. It's something that Sherry hopes she never sees again.
I tried. I tried to give it a chance. I want to believe that there is something larger. The camera went out of focus. I want to believe there's something larger than us in this world. I do. It's called black holes and shit, right? It's called space, and like we are insignificant in this universe. But Dogman.
The following encounter was filmed by a woman who's also a researcher and live streamer. Months ago, she decided to explore a new undisclosed location, a dense patch of woods known for its strange sounds. Initially, her plan was just to stay.
She's going to investigate a dense patch. She's going to investigate a dense patch of woods known for its dense sounds. Did you guys just hear that? Hey, Pam, where are you off to today? Well, I'm going to a patch of woods known for its sounds. You're like, what the fuck? She go to smoke like crack cocaine? She was like, what's she doing? Actually, I don't think I'm supposed to say that on YouTube. Scratch that. Dude, that's a beep. So she's going to, okay, let me get that back to that setup. This final thing for Dogman. Researcher, she's going to this patch of woods that is known for strange sounds.
The night, but she ended up capturing some very disturbing footage during her stream. On the evening of September 25th, she had driven her SUV up this old logging trail to explore somewhere new. She quickly set up a small camp, cooked some food just to kind of get some scent in the air, and even
You cook? Wait Who cooked some food? So I sat down to cook some food just to get some scent in the air. What? Could you imagine someone telling you a story? So I sat down, I was kind of hungry, so I cooked some, scratch the hungry. Cooked some food to put some scent in the air. Unless she was specifically going for man, bear, pig.
Played some animal calls from her speaker, hoping that she would get some activity, or at least a response of some kind. And for the first hour or so, she didn't get anything, and it seemed like this was just going to be a dead-end investigation. But not too long later, the woods started to come alive, and this is when she decided to start the live stream and explain to her viewers what was going on.
So I assume that if she's doing a live stream in this patch of forest in the middle of nowhere that is known for its strange sounds, that there's going to be lots of video. There's going to be lots of video to prove Dogman exists, or at least Man Bear Pig. I've seen South Park, and I know Man Bear Pig exists. Call Eric Cartman. Man Bear Pig exists.
She started walking down a narrow path that led deeper into the woods.
Wait. Is this actual footage? He never says, is this actual footage? If there's footage, he never says it's actual footage. It's not. It's B-roll. This is fucking B-roll. Put actual footage.
The only light she really had was her flashlight. And then she spots something. This set of eyes. What's weird is that they're really...
It's fucking Rocket. It's fucking Rocket Raccoon again. It's fucking... That's Dogman? Are you telling me? How do I do that? Is that... You're telling me that's Dogman? That's Dogman. That is fucking Rocket Raccoon. That's Bradley Cooper. Oh, no. Sorry.
In the middle of the night and had to abandon she never sees again.
Sorry,
She
guys.
decided to start the live stream and explain to her viewers what was going on.
There we
She
go.
started walking down a narrow path
guys,
that
I
led
hit the-
deeper into the woods.
back
The
button.
only light she really had was her flashlight.
We're back,
And then
we're
she
back.
spots something. This set of eyes. What's
Bradley
weird is
Cooper.
that they're relatively low to the ground,
I am
but they
Groot.
reflect the light with this
I am
bright
Groot.
yellow orange. And oddly, the placement doesn't match up. It looks like it's sticking out of the ground. Like whatever this is buried up to its chest.
Okay. I'm telling you, man, dude has got to get better B-roll. It's got to get better B-roll. Like, what the fuck did I just see? This is Hollywood. Everyone's gay once in a
This
while.
went on for a little bit, and then it kind of just blinked out. Wanting to continue the investigation, she kept walking, but her senses were on very high alert at this point. I mean, she was convinced that there was a
Rocket
figure
Raccoon.
off in the forest just out of reach of the light. During this time, she continued hearing
You're telling me that's Dogman? Are you telling me that's Dogman? Do you not go back and watch your own video and say, well, are people going to believe the stuff I'm saying on my video that believe that this is Dogman? The largest that thing could be is Rocket Raccoon. The largest.
strange noises like growling and like something big was circling her. She continued about 50 yards down the trail where her flashlight illuminated a large thicket of tangled roots and branches at the base of a large tree.
Yes, that is that is what a thicket is. Thank you for defining for us what a thicket is, because
That's when she came across this massive figure that looked canine.
that's the massive figure. This is the massive figure. This is Dogman. This is the thing. This is. I am without speech. I have no.
Through the massive branches, she could make out a very distinct shape and powerful shoulders. It had a canine muzzle and what appeared to be pointed ears. The most terrifying thing, though, was not just the eyes, but how, after it was spotted, it slowly crouched down without
He zooms into it. It slowly crouches
breaking eye
down.
contact. She watched for maybe only 15 or so seconds, but she could see as it swayed slightly back.
It is an amazing amount of detail. So this woman is out in the forest alone. She's in a dense. Remember, she's in a dense patch of woods that is known for its strange sounds. Have you ever known, like, As a screenwriter, if I was going to write something, you know, a woman comes into town, she drives into the gas station, you in town, sheriff's there. Howdy, ma'am, where are you off to? Well, I've heard that there's a patch of woods somewhere close by where there is an abundance of strange sounds. Oh yeah, that's down over there yonder. You might want to go. That's Dogman territory. It's Dogman territory. You know that.
Back and forth, and then as soon as it
I gotta write
disappeared
this
from view,
screenplay.
she heard a low growl from her
Where's my
left.
notes?
And that can only mean one thing. It wasn't alone. After realizing that this thing had lured her back here to distract her, she was about to be flanked on both sides. Now, could the out there is walking on two legs.
I did it again.
This set of eyes. What's weird is that they're relatively low to the ground, but they reflect the light with this bright yellow orange, and oddly, the placement doesn't match up. It looks like it's sticking out of the ground. Like whatever this is buried up to its chest. This went on for a little bit. Of branches, she could make out a very distinct shape and powerful shoulders. It had a canine muzzle and what appeared to be pointed ears. The most terrifying thing, though, was not just the eyes, but how, after it was spotted, it slowly crouched down without breaking eye contact. She watched for maybe only 15 or so seconds, but she could see as it swayed slightly back and forth, and then, as soon as it disappeared from view, she heard a low growl from her left.
Low growl.
And that can only mean one thing. It wasn't alone.
It could only mean one
After
thing.
realizing that this thing had
two.
lured her back here to distract her, she was about to be flanked on both sides.
Can you imagine being the police officer? Like if you had to listen, okay, go on. You're okay. So you thought there was two of them, and then you believed you were being flanked. How come? Why did you think you were being flanked? So there's two rocket raccoons. Did one look like Star-Lord or Gamora? Like Groot? I am Groot. Maybe. Was this Dogman or was it Man Bear Pig?
Now, could this footage be faked? Absolutely. I don't think that this.
Wait, that was the actual footage? Oh my God. That was the actual freaking. That was the actual footage of Dogman? What am I looking at? I did this segment because I thought it was gonna like bring some real light onto Dogman. What? That was.
Is hoaxed with AI for several reasons. First is that AI is terrible at generating low quality live stream looking footage because it's trained on high quality footage and it just can't do it well at all. Secondly is the entire sequence of her coming up to the base of the tree and staying steady on this large figure before it ever crouches down is way longer than what AI can typically do. Something about this tells me that this isn't exactly a hoax. Unfortunately,
Something tells you that this isn't a hoax. You saw two little orange eyes, two little beady eyes poking up. Look, like literally, it's evidence that Rocket Raccoon exists, not Dogman. I already texted Bradley Cooper. No, I didn't. I don't have his phone number. But if I did, hey, Bradley, were you out in the woods there? Like, cause you scared some gal freaking pretty good. Says, yeah, that was me. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
all I can do is just present you with the information, but you have to come to your own conclusions. If real, whatever being she encountered this night remains a mystery. And because you guys have...
Really? Do you really think it remains a mystery? Do you really think all of this is evidence for Dogman? So, Your Honor, I present to you the evidence.
Made it to the end of the video, I want you to all comment down below, doggone it, so that way I know who made it to the end and who didn't. And
So guys, I will never, one thing about YouTube, I never ask for a subscribe and I will never ask you to watch the end of the video. If I'm watching a YouTube video and someone asks me to make sure you watch till the very end because that's when I give you all the really good stuff, I literally back out. Fuck you. Don't tell me how to do my YouTube watching. And I know how the subscribe button works, okay? I'm not dumb here. If a YouTuber does, oh man, one of my pet peeves. Don't ask me to subscribe. I know how the subscribe, the notify button works. I'm not Dogman.
If you guys enjoy storytelling like this, where we deep dive into strange cases of the mysterious and supernatural, what are you waiting for? Smack that like and subscribe button right now for more content just like this.
Why don't you smack the Dogman? So guys, that is the channel called What Lurks Beneath. So we've used a lot of his, going over his content. You can go watch him, What Lurks Beneath. He's obviously entertaining, but I think as a screenwriter, I hate prefacing it like that, but these are stories. These are very poorly told stories. Evidence for anything. Look, I'm a guy, I'm a science guy. I was always like the Spock kind of a guy, right? 1 + 1 = 2. There is no part of the universe that it equals 3 or 2.5 or anything like that. 1 multiplied by 0 will always be 0. That's just a matter of fact. Nothing falls up. Nothing falls up. It's science, right? I do not believe that there is aliens among us. Now, I have friends that will argue with me all the time. There's no heat signatures. There's no evidence. That's a video. We will do lots of those videos, the alien stuff. I am a realist. And this video kind of stuff, you start talking about Dogman, you start talking about all these, like, what are the other things, man? Well, you could say man, bear, pig. I mean, Eric Cartman. Oops. Let me just remove him. Man, bear, pig. I got really small on that screen, didn't I? Look, I know there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that want to believe some of this stuff exists. I don't believe in ghosts. You know what's funny? I'll tell you a quick thing about ghosts. I've had a lot of girlfriends, and girls tend to be scared of ghosts. And they would send me down, I remember specifically one time I had to go downstairs. I forgot what I had to go pick up. And it was down under the stairs, kind of like where I think it was pierogies was I getting? I think it was pierogies. And she was scared to go down. I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to, no names, no names. And so if you're scared to go downstairs because of a ghost, why are you not scared for me to go downstairs and that freaking same ghost is going to attack me? You insensitive, you don't even care for me because that same ghost that you are scared of that's going to attack you. Well, no, you're not scared of them because they know that. So ghosts die and they go to ghost school. So you die and then you go to ghost school and they say, look, if they don't believe in ghosts, you can't attack them. You can't attack them if you don't believe in them. I never understood that. I never understood that. If a ghost is going to attack you, why are you not scared for my life? Anyway, it's one of these things that one thing I do want to say in the Godless Universe, I am going to start having guests on. If you know anybody who is a good YouTuber, who is an expert in the field of science, any science, an expert in the field, and they're a good YouTuber, can go on. You can email me. I think the email is, and I will take it because I am bringing guests on. Because I need some banter. I mean, I do love to, but there's a couple people that I'm looking at, but I am looking for some strong YouTube people. It's godlessuniversetv@gmail.com. Godlessuniversetv@gmail. It's on the profile. But that's basically what tomorrow I'm doing Charlie Kirk. All the evidence, and I think after you hear what I have to say about Charlie Kirk, you will say, damn, I think Daddy has it. I have no doubt that you will say, now there's still all the answers, but from what I see, and just using purely science, pure common sense, I think you will, after hearing what I have to say, you will go, yep, I think, and you might have figured it out for yourself. You might have already figured it out for yourself. And you might say, yep, that's what I thought. Or you may say, damn, I never thought of that. Oh my God, he might be true. It's just pure evidence. If you look at the evidence, so that's tomorrow, Charlie Kirk. And we are going to do a lot more. I got all these things. I got near-death experience. I got all this stuff lined up. Doing, calling out the bullshit, my friends. Calling out the bullshit. I am going to do as a screen, we do lots of reviews. I am going to do a review of The Witcher. Oh my God. I watched the... Look, The Witcher has not been good, even from the first episode, from the first season. The only reason The Witcher was ever good was because of Henry Cavill. The storytelling is abysmal. It's abysmal. The first season was like, what in the hell is going on? Do I have to like go back and rethink? Like, they're going all over the map in time. Their entire storyline in The Witcher is just all over the map. It is such poor storytelling. What a mess. That series should have rocked butt. So I'm going to do that. I've got some other stuff going on all week. Oh, 3i Atlas. I got Avi Loeb. So on Thursday, I'll be doing Avi Loeb. Avi Loeb, he's an astronomer. I spell it ASS, astronomer. Sorry, man. It's not an alien spaceship. I'm going to you think they're going to send a 12-mile freaking mothership? You know how much that would cost in energy? If it went 50 light years and it's a 12-mile mother headquarters, it would cost expend almost 14% of the total energy output of our sun over its lifetime. It would, like, someone in the throne room of this advanced civilization would say, like, boss, why don't we just send like little nanobots and we could send them at 1/1000th the energy cost and we could like put little video on them and everything like that. But no, they'll send the mothership. They'll send a 12-mile mothership. Or should it be this? I'm telling you, man, Avi Loeb is no. Anyway, so on Thursday, I'm going to go all the statements he made, all the stupid statements he made. I call them stupid, my opinion. And then the scientific rationale behind all of his statements. And I think there's a reason why he's doing what he's doing. So it isn't 3i Atlas. He was wrong with Oumuamua. How did that work out, Oumuamua? Do you guys remember Hale Bop? 1997, Hale Bop. It comes by once every 2,534 years. So basically at around the time of Alexander the Great, before Alexander the Great was the last time we saw Hale Bop, before 1997. And of course there was the people that drank the purple Kool-Aid. No one believed that there was an actual spaceship behind Hale Bop. Everyone knew that these people ended themselves in a stupid way for no reason. But now it seems like common fare that 3i Atlas very well might be an alien spaceship. So that's on Thursday, this week Thursday. And tomorrow is Charlie Kirk. That's all I got today, my friends. Thank you for spending time with the Godless Universe. That was fun. I enjoyed doing Dogman. We're gonna do. I don't know if there's more on Dogman. But there's a whole bunch more things that I have lined up that are similar to Dogman. If you watch the video, like, so even if you just do a 3i Atlas search and you pull down, you know what? Watch this. YouTube.com. And I'm going to go 3i Atlas. And I only want the last 24 hours. Today. Just give me the today stuff. And I am going to share that screen. This is just from today. 3i Atlas. This is just 3i Atlas from today. The clickbait, the asinine clickbait. I refuse to do videos like this. Radio signal from 3i Atlas stuns astronomers. Stuns them. Astronomers are stunned. Like, look at Michio Kaku. You know what? I have my friend. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I did not share it. Oh my God, I feel terrible. Why is this not going to Remove other media. Oh, okay. I see. There we go. I'm sorry. I got to share this stuff, man. There we go. There we go. NASA warning. This is 3i Atlas, the signal that shook NASA. Are we ready? I think there was something that they detected. It broke up. 3i Atlas, I think, broke up. I think that some people are saying that it's like little ships that are breaking apart and going to fly and attack Earth. The night 3i Atlas blinked, Earth just witnessed a signal from the stars. NASA issues warning. Of course, it's set up exactly like CNN, right? It's exactly like CNN. Look at James Webb Telescope. Just received terrifying transmission from 3i Atlas. Unbelievable. And here's the purveyor of all this bullshit, Avi Loeb, Israeli renowned astronomer at Harvard. Do you think maybe it's a distraction for something? I just say it. I'm not saying anything. I didn't say the J word. I didn't say it. Like, damn, I'm a nice guy. I'm just saying Avi Loeb might have an ulterior motive. As an Israeli-born astronomer at Harvard, I'm just saying he might have an ulterior motive. I seriously. Alien comet sends radio signal. Comet 3i Atlas signal. The first call from deep space. I mean, these guys are all really bad screenwriters, basically. 3i Atlas splits into two. Where did the other half go? It's flying to Earth with its like laser guns. I just did a video on Battlestar Galactica. Have you ever watched Battlestar Galactica? It's great sci-fi. It's great sci-fi. So they have the FTL jump drive, but some of their fight scenes with the Cylons and so I'm used to see, I posted a video just a couple days ago. So I'm used to all the fight scenes. What's really interesting, you get these advanced civilizations, even Star Wars, Star Trek has the photon torpedoes, but all of these civilizations have stupid lasers, right? None of them, today we have missiles that hit the target. But hundreds of years into the future, apparently they just have dumb missiles and that fire off and they just fire like World War I, just fire. Really? That's what. No. Astronomers detect first radio signal from interstellar comet 3i Atlas, but it wasn't aliens? Wait a sec. Wait. It wasn't aliens. It was aliens, wasn't it? You know what? If I was Michio Kaku, I'd be so pissed off. His face is AI'd everywhere with this stuff. Everywhere. They just found another 3i Atlas. Oh, shit. Another one. NASA is terrified. NASA is terrified. They're like, you just see all the astronomers at home running around in a panic, pulling out their hair. It's like, what's wrong, honey? It's like, honey, I'm in a panic. They broke the internet. 3i Atlas, the aliens broke the internet. It's another term I hate. Every time I see they broke the internet, I will never hit that frickin' YouTube video. Am I the only one that thinks this way? Because seriously. Comet 3i Atlas passes Mars. Wait, like 6 hours ago. It passed Mars a long time ago. Truth behind the virals. Someone is like literally behind on the times. Did AI Atlas explode? 23,000 people decided that might be worthy of their attention. 3i Atlas, the interstellar visitor, changing everything we know. Oh my God, they're using the GOAT, Brian Cox. I will call Brian Cox right now myself, and I'll say, Brian. 94,000 people freaking clicked on it. That's a good AI picture of Brian, though. 3i Atlas exploded. NASA is hiding it. Fragmented into 16 pieces. It did fragment going around, but there's not. I guarantee you, my friends, 2 weeks from now, we will still be live. There will not be. This will not turn into a Mars attacks. Yak. Did you see? That's one of the best movies, man. I'm telling you, if that's another movie we all got to sit down and watch. Mars Attacks. Fucking classic. classic sci-fi spoof. Brian Cox, oh no. So now they're using Brian Cox as much as they're using Michio Kaku on this Three Eye Atlas BS. Three Eye Atlas is communicating with something on Earth. With me. I texted Three Eye Atlas. I said, hello, Nanu Nanu. Nanu. You remember which TV show Nanu Nanu was from? Nanu Nanu. Robin Williams. What was the show called though? I can't remember. Robin Williams. I'll remember. Oh, look at that AI of Brian Cox. That is so bad. Oh my God, that is so bad. The good thing is it has no views and it was 5 hours ago. Oh, my friends, this is just all bad. So, what is NASA hiding behind the 3i Atlas object? Baba Vanga knew. Baba Vanga? Who's Baba Vanga? Baba Vanga. Is that like Beavis and Butthead?
I am going to great Conholio. I will bungholio you. Great holio.
Bunga holio. We're in trouble, man. If this is how society is going, I'm scared for society. I also worked on Wall Street for a number of years. I was a market maker and economic analyst, so I worked on Wall Street. I do watch CNBC. I watch the economy. The things that I see are scary. We're approaching $39 trillion in debt. $39 trillion in debt. The number is not beyond our capacity to understand. I mean, look at the shit that's going around us. Governments thrive in crisis. 3i Atlas is just another bullshit made up crisis. It's a fucking comet. It's a fucking comet. The zeitgeist of YouTube is literally discussing that this thing is a freaking alien ship about to attack us as it goes around the sun. We're 39 trillion in debt. Is it related? Probably. Got to get your mind off of the real things that matter. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of layoffs, millions of layoffs, people losing their houses, utter economic destruction, except for the very wealthy people at the top. There's a crisis going on that is real in people's lives. But we're talking about 3i Atlas. That it might be an alien spaceship. And Dogman. Did I mention Dogman? Did I mention? Did I mention Man Bear Pig? Guys, to me, this is all a distraction. Science, 1 + 1 = 2. Things are pretty straightforward. If you go to bed at night thinking clearly, okay, I got it. Thinking clearly and not letting a lot of the stuff, the distractions are immense. And I don't like to see science used as a distraction, which is why I dislike Avi Loeb so much. The stuff that he's peddling is asinine. Science is literally, if you take a look at everything in the world that we have, science is the only superpower. That is literally the only superpower that exists in this world, science. And it is used recklessly by reckless people in ways. You're going to cut NASA's budget of any budget you're going to cut. You're going to cut NASA's budget. They're going to cut NASA's budget. Anyway, I could go on. Tomorrow night, again, my friends. Tomorrow we're doing Charlie Kirk. I think I have the answer. And when you hear the answer, you'll go, "Shit, Danny." I think you know what? I think you're right. You put it. I think you're right. There's a lot of people out there that are probably thinking the same thing. I just take the evidence and I'm going to put it together. I'm going to say this is what, or let me put it this way: this is what didn't happen tomorrow night. This is what didn't happen. And then, of course, Thursday, Avi Loeb, and I'm going to a bunch of other stuff. I mean, that's just one segment of many segments that I do every night. My friends, that is all we have for this evening. This is Godless Universe. It's only episode 7. So I'm glad you spent some time with us. I will see you tomorrow night.
Okay, children, let's take our seats.
Yeah, baby.
Do it live. Fuck it.